Welcome to BZN TV in association with D210 Sports TV. Today we're sitting down with Ivy Awino, the official DJ for the Dallas Mavericks. She's also the mix DJ at K104.5 FM, the recipient of the Global Spin Award, and the first ever female to DJ the NBA All-Star Game. Ivy, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for wanting to speak with me and being here with me.
Well, you're so accomplished, and when I read about you or heard about what you did, I knew that your voice is something that we want to share on the show, and we want to learn more from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So let's kind of start at the beginning, right? Where most stories start. You are from Nairobi, Kenya.
I am.
And tell me a little bit about how that background has informed the woman that you are today.
Okay, absolutely. I'm a proud young East African girl, born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya. Very humble beginnings, raised with my mother, my grandmother, in probably one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Yeah, paradise, huh?
I'm not biased or anything, but
yeah, right now.
But I just had a very fun, adventurous childhood. And I moved to the United States when I was 9. Mm-hmm. So I'm lucky and very blessed to have a dual understanding of what life can be like on both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
Do
you think that influenced your creativity?
Very much so, yeah. I embrace, being from Africa, especially Kenya, musically and creatively, I was exposed to so much so young. On a global spectrum. So whether it was African music or traditional music or, pop culture America, you know what I mean? Or just everything from Europe to, we embrace a lot of different cultures. Whether it's culinary, from the arts, whatever. So I do think it definitely played into forming me into be the woman that I am now.
Yeah. The rest of us, we're all just listening to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and you were getting like a cultural.
No, I was right there with you, and Brittany Spears, and
all those back
Ashley
in the
Simpson,
90s,
and Jessica Simpson, and 98 Degrees, and Old Town.
All the favorites. Yeah, you're reading like all the posters on my wall right now.
No, I was here by then, so I was here by then. I was missing concerts at the old Cowboy Stadium and everything in between, but Spice Girls and everything. Yeah. No, I got it all. I'm there with you.
Well-rounded.
Yes.
So with all the things that you've accomplished and where you are right now, I know that you talk a lot about being mindful and kind of reflecting on your journey. I think I watched a recent interview where you talked about that. So where are you with that now? How are you feeling in your life and in your accomplishments?
Honestly,
yeah.
At a crossroads.
Okay.
Because I'm at this place where I'm like, what next, right?
Right.
You do so much, and I think it's great.
Yeah, you were climbing the mountain.
Absolutely.
You're now on top of that mountain that you were looking at.
You get it.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I don't even think I'm on top or anywhere close, but I think that I've definitely kind of
maybe the first summit.
Rhythm. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And now, actually, funny you bring that analogy up is because I now understand mountain climbing.
Really?
Yeah. You can't scale a mountain all at once. You have to pitch a tent, rest, compose yourself, and then proceed. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at like summit 1, and it's okay. So this has been great thus far, but how do I continue the momentum?
Right.
Or is there a swinging momentum? And it's confusing, and I think that a lot of us should talk a lot more about the other side of success, right?
I totally agree. Yeah.
Where is it okay to be confused by it? Is it okay to be satisfied? Is it okay to be unsatisfied? Is it normal? Is it healthy? And those are the conversations that I'm now ready to have, because again, you look at your favorite whoever. And all you see is their highlight reel.
Exactly.
Right? And you never really see what their BTS looks like.
Exactly.
So I'm the one,
That's what we're all about here at BZN TV, talking about those mindful conversations and not just looking at the outside, because we can all present a certain picture to ourselves, or like you said, our highlight reel. But there is a downside to everything, right? Everything in life, there is the light and the dark. There's the ups and the downs.
Yeah,
and
I think yang. It's just natural. It's nature.
Totally.
You know.
And when we don't talk about it, that's when it consumes us.
And you know, we have this wonderful thing in our lives now called social media.
Yep.
And it's just,
it can be a little crazy. Yeah.
Listen, I think we're going through a cultural shift where it's like, how is this going to either affect our kids? I have a 5-year-old who's, if y'all can't see, but running around here somewhere. But how
adorable.
Thank you.
So cute.
How is this going to help and how is it going to hurt?
Right.
And we have to start talking about this hurt because all we see is perfect.
Yes.
In a world of imperfect. So it's like, you know?
And everyone has a story.
Absolutely.
Everyone has.
Absolutely.
No matter how perfect someone looks, they have insecurities. They have things that they've gone through. And so we have to be sure that we communicate that to the younger generation.
Especially to women, you know? Because I think the pressure,
so hard on themselves.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So some of you guys can tell us every so often whether it's a thing for guys too, but I think for women too, that, you know, because it's an appearance thing, it's a achievement thing, it's always something, you know. So I'm all about letting mothers, single mothers, young girls, adolescents, grown women, that look, it's not easy, but it is worth it.
Yes.
To do it the right way.
And I think that approach and you're so humble and you're so real. That's just your nature, you know, your energy. You can probably feel it through the camera, you guys. So effervescent. And like I think that when you tell people that, hey, you know, I'm not perfect either, you give other people a way to see themselves having the possibility to achieve their dreams too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what really life's all about.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if you're not inspiring somebody to aspire, then you're doing it all wrong. You know, if you're more so, and you know, it's not fair to say because it's really also based on the other person in terms of how they're going to interpret whatever they see, right? Because communication is two ways. So there's a message, there's a channel of a message being given and a channel of a message being received.
Exactly.
So if you're receiving it wrong, it's not much I can do. However, best I can do is be me, and then however you take that, that's completely entirely up to you. But at least on my end, I can sleep at night, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we can only do our best. Keep showing up every day.
That's it.
And speaking of showing up every day, so I was reading about kind of how you got started in your journey, and you were so bold. You just you would reach out to people, you created your own opportunities.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that and how maybe some people at home might have dreams or goals that they want to get started on, but they don't know how to really get the ball rolling?
Yeah, and it's okay to feel that way, step number one, but you have to get over that. Yeah. And you have to deconstruct, you know, you have to think about the biggest buildings ever built, the biggest houses ever built. They were, okay, so sometimes, yes, it was one panel at a time, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, it started off with one piece, right? So you formulate that in your head, how you think it looks like. Because even if that's not correct, it'll get you one step closer to finding out what that correct way is. You know, a lot of us, and I'm in this phase now where the next level is so lofty. I'm like, oh man, what now? You know, and I have to remind myself back when, you know, I was emailing everybody, calling everybody, cold calling, sending emails that weren't responded to and whatever else. But you find that life has a very interesting way of restoring that faith, because something will happen and you'll get that moment when you're like, oh my gosh, it was so worth it. Like, you know, you can knock on 10,000 doors, but when that one opens, you're not going to feel like the 9,999 ones that you have to knock on were in vain. You know, nothing is ever in vain.
Do you have one of those moments that you can call to mind right now?
Oh yeah. I mean, even with the Mavericks, I mean, my whole NBA journey, really, you know, I was a ball kid. Yeah. So I worked here.
Talk about focus. I mean, you started from right then. You were like,
you know,
you're at least in the mix. So.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. So it's one of those things where it's like, is this destiny? You know, or what is it? Because I mean, all I knew was that I liked sports. Yeah. All I knew was this was my favorite team ever. And all I knew was that doing that would get me one step closer to being around the business. And then when I was there, I could devise other ways to learn more about the business, right? And I did. I learned so much from so many different people in this building at a very young age, some of whom I know until today, believe it or not. Wow. So there was that. I mean, I ended up going to Marquette, and I loved Marquette. It wasn't my first choice, but I ended up there, and again, that gratification and restoration of faith, because I look back, I went to school with so many of the guys that are in the league now.
For a reason.
You know? I went to school with the great basketball program. I worked for the basketball program. I worked for the athletics program. I live in the city of Milwaukee, one of my most favorite underrated places ever.
Most favorite underrated. I like that.
Look, I love Milwaukee. I worked for the Bucks for 3 years. People don't know. I auditioned to be their team DJ. That didn't work out. But I, took over Milwaukee, and then I felt like I needed to move home, and I moved home with. Again, it was just the next best thing to do. And one thing, I guess
was just following your path.
Just following a path, really. A good friend once told me, always do the next best thing.
Oh, I
and
like
that'll
that.
lead you to your next best thing.
That's powerful.
So just doing the next best thing, We met up with, a great friend of mine, Skylar Diggins-Smith, who I worked for a long time. And then working with her led me to working with the Wings. And working with the Wings, another great friend of mine. Surround yourself with really good people. Apparently my friends are really great. They give me lots of great advice. But a friend told me, like, hey, if you're working for the WNBA and look across the street, NBA's right there, why don't you, and it's somewhere you've been before, why don't you call over there and see if they need any help? And I did, but at the time they didn't. Mm-hmm. So I could have been dejected then, but I did it and it felt great. So I let it go.
Yeah.
But it came back, because that's how things are really meant to be. Mm-hmm. So just being really okay with no.
Yeah.
It's a really good place to start.
Really good point. Being okay with no.
Okay with no.
No stops so many of us from achieving our dreams or from even getting started.
Yeah.
Just become immune to no.
Yeah. Another good friend yesterday actually just told me that a denial is sometimes just a delay.
I like
so
that.
Again,
maybe it's you can grow or develop your skills.
Absolutely. You got to take time to not, give yourself a day or two, because some of them hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of them hurt really bad.
Yes, they do. I think we can all relate to that.
I think we can all agree to that. But again, you bounce back. You do. You bounce back. And the quicker the better. Mm-hmm. The quicker the better.
So you are obviously, just even having this conversation, you're very mindful, you're very reflective, you're very in tune with your journey, and
I try.
And what's going on in your life. Do you have a certain way that you kind of tune in and stay connected to your inner self?
I talk to myself all the time, probably more than is healthy, honestly.
No, I think it's a great idea.
I'm constantly journaling. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly, and what's funny is very recently, I have this stack of journals, right, that I've had since college, maybe even high school. And the other day, I took some time to flip through a few of them. And what's funny is so much of what I've written down in the past, it's almost scary, like word for word.
You're just manifesting it.
This was years ago, and I wasn't flipping, I was flipping because I was cleaning.
Yeah.
And so I'm very spiritual, obviously.
Yeah.
I pray a lot. And sometimes it's not in the way that I would like to, but it's just constant communication with myself, with God, and the universe. It's like this orbit, you know what I mean, in which I exist. It can be exhausting though, because I think sometimes it leads me to overthinking.
Totally, and I can relate to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But sometimes in that moment, I'm like, look, I've also learned to let go of that which I don't have control over, right? Mm-hmm. So like stress is a really bad thing. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your skin.
Bad.
It's
That's
bad
why we
for
meditate.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I'm learning to do that, which makes me happy, because I feel like
I like that. Which makes me happy.
Yeah, because when you're happy,
I like that.
And in that moment, or in those moments in my life where I feel like I'm in a good space, so many good things happen, right? Yeah. So just trying my best to keep the energy around me very, very, very clear.
Yep. Keep yourself on that high vibration.
Yeah.
And
sometimes, like when I'm in a funky mood, you'll see I'll keep myself away from people.
And you know what? That's probably a blessing for you and for them.
And look,
that's what I think too. I'm like, trust me, you don't want me.
You don't want to be around me. Exactly. But it also gives you that space to just clear
it out. Yeah. So you also talk about being really intentional. With your time, with what you do. I read something where you talked about how there's nothing that you do, big or small, that you have not thought through. So how?
Most of the time.
Right. I mean, things change, but for the most
Beyonce were to walk here, look, I ain't think about nothing. Okay, no, I'm joking.
So how do you kind of have a little like internal guidance system, or how do you decide like I'm going to take this opportunity, or I'm going to wait, or I'm going to take this opportunity? Like, how do you kind of sort through all your options?
Knowing what you want from the get-go. I feel like if you know what you want and you always keep it at the forefront.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that's being a parent, and being a young parent at that.
Yeah.
It was, you only have 24 hours in a day. At 27 years old, I'm still reminding myself every day that you only have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
My mom always encouraged me to make a pie chart and visibly look at what you're spending time on every single day.
I think that's a great tip that all of us can benefit from.
Yeah, and I now actually literally do it, you know, because every minute of sleep counts.
Exactly. And our energy is more valuable than gold. I mean,
absolutely. But it's just knowing that your resources are limited and time is your most valuable resource.
Yeah.
And then opportunity right before time. And we don't look at opportunity as a quote unquote resource, but it's an intangible, you know, thing.
Yeah.
So if I feel like this will never come around again, again, a lot of us too are just being held back by fear, right? Because you feel like if you do something, you already see the outcome of what it is, and most of the time it's negative.
Yeah.
But I don't see an outcome, I see the opportunity.
I like
we'll
that.
deal with the outcome later, you know?
See the opportunity.
Yeah, because if it doesn't come again, I don't do regrets, you know? I don't have time to be like, I wish that, nope, there's nothing in my life I can say I wish that I didn't.
Yeah.
I did it, it's done, it's over.
Better to do it than have a regret about it.
I would rather, much rather ask for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? For permission, you know.
Ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Yeah.
She got me.
I know what you're talking
about. You know what I'm talking about. I'll say sorry, you know.
It's such a good way to be.
But I did it though.
Yeah. I did, exactly. But you have a very forward-moving energy that I think that it's tangible. You can really feel it. It's like this train that's always going to be heading forward.
Thank you.
So if you had any advice, you've already given some great advice, a lot of wisdom here, but if there was anything that you could leave our viewers with, the women who are watching this show, all of us have dreams, all of us have things that we want for ourselves, what would you tell them?
Live one day at a time, especially when you're a very ambitious person. And this is very much me talking to myself too.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should never give advice that I'm not willing to take or don't even really need it at this very moment. I think that's how
we all learn, I think.
You know what I'm saying?
Through our own issues and overcoming stuff.
Transparency. You know? Remember that, again, take it one day at a time. And then also just be your biggest fan.
I like that.
In addition to being your biggest critic. So I'm a Gemini, so there's this
I was going to ask you what your sign was. Yeah. So I'm glad it came out.
It came out. Yeah. See, I'm a Gemini, and this is also, and then also take time to understand yourself. You know, take time to understand why you think the way you do. Take time to like just really figure yourself out.
Yeah.
It'll become an asset in being kind to yourself, and it'll also become an asset in helping somebody else understand you, you know?
So you can communicate effectively your needs and have good relationships.
There you go.
Yeah.
And just have a very, very healthy relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And being a woman is
a journey.
It's a calling.
It is. I like that. Being a woman is a calling.
It's a calling. You know, and so, but again, just before you go to bed at night, give yourself a really big hug. And when you wake up in the morning, give yourself a really big pat on the back, you know, and be your best.
I love that. I think that's wonderful advice.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for being here. I thank you. You know, thank you. This is very therapeutic. I feel like we should have like some therapy sessions every so often.
I like that. Heck yeah, let's do some meditation.
Yes, I'm down. I'm down.
She's gonna have a weekly spot on the show.
Look,
and we can get some wisdom from Ivy.
It's gonna be called something with Ivy. We'll figure it out.
I don't know.
Poison. Something. We'll come up with it.
It'll be good. Don't worry. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Ivy.
So
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of BZen TV. For more information and inspiration, be sure to check out our Instagram at BZen TV and head over to our website, b-zen.tv.